Welcome everyone, it's the Crypto Lark. Today I got the chance to sit down with the team from Orvium to discuss their upcoming token sale, bringing openness and transparency to science via the blockchain. We're going to get into that interview after a massive thank you to all of you for being part of the cryptocurrency community. Your support of the channel makes all the difference, so thank you so much. And you do have to remember, this is not financial advice. This is just a dude talking about cryptocurrencies on the internet. This is a token sale. Please do your own due diligence for investing your own money, because there is always a certain amount of inherent risk in investing in any token sale. Unfortunately, this sale does exclude citizens of the United States. Furthermore, the team at Orvium has reached out to me to do a sponsored interview, but I have, of course, reserved the right to ask any kinds of fun and interesting questions. So let's get into it. Very excited to have with me today Antonio from Orvium. Welcome, Antonio.
Thank you very much. Hello.
Now, for anyone who doesn't know what Orvium is doing, can you give us the short version, the elevator pitch, so to speak?
Sure. So, in fact, Orvium is a decentralized platform that pretends to control and manage the scientific publication life cycle. So, what it means, in short, is that everything that is going on with the manuscript for the scientific publishing, everything will go transparently to the blockchain and everybody will see what's happening in those articles.
Awesome. Before really looking into this, it's been a while since I've been in university and looked at academia and peer-reviewed articles, but I didn't actually realize the extent of the problem currently facing scientific publishing. And it might sound like an abstract kind of thing for a lot of people, but it's actually really important because this is where a lot of science happens. So what are some of the current problems facing scientific publishing?
Well, in fact, there are several problems. Of these problems are inefficient. For example, the delay that takes from the moment that the scientists have its work already written in the article until it is published can take up to 2 or even 3 years, which is already a delay.
2 or 3 years?
Yes, in many cases, it can take that long. I think in average, it is around 1.5 years, which is already a lot of time. There are many others. For example, that when you submit the article, you are giving all the rights of this article to the publishers. So basically, you lose automatically your property of your work, which is really bad. There are many other things, like it's a really opaque system where you don't know, from the moment that you send the article, you don't know what's happening behind. You don't know exactly who's reviewing that, why it's taking so long, and you don't get any answer. You are not sure what's happening on that. And there is a big profit for them in terms of economic profit, because when it gets published, you also have to pay as well for this publication after giving all the rights of this article to them, and you have to pay again to read it back. So even you have to pay to read your own article. So that's all basically a few of the core inefficiencies and problems that they are facing now, that the scientific community is facing.
It's actually quite a funny business model. I can only imagine, hey, I've written an article, here's my article, can I pay to read it now? It's crazy when you say it like that, but that's what's happening.
Yeah, hopefully you keep a copy of it, so you can read at least your article. But yeah, it's a bit hard.
One would hope you could at least get one free copy. Yeah. Now, not to mention, of course, there's a lot of low-quality journals. I recently did cover something here on the program where Kim Kardashian and Satoshi Nakamoto, the dream team of scientists, came together to write a scientific article in a peer-reviewed journal. Now, obviously, this was a scam put together by somebody trying to prove that the process is broken. When I actually started reading about Orvium, I thought, wait a second, was this the Orvium guys? Are they doing this just to prove how broken the system is?
Yeah, I think it's actually really relevant these kind of things, no, because it shows it shows perfectly the progress, no. It shows that since everything is opaque there and obscure, you don't know who's doing these reviews, and these reviews can be bad, like it has been shown, and also it also point out, no, this economic reward of focus that they are actually looking for. The publishers and the journals, they are looking for the economic reward, and they are not so much interested in the end about sometimes the quality of the research of the product. So we believe that actually if we make that everything completely transparent, these kind of cases will be very easy to spot, because if someone makes a review and says that this is a very great article, everybody will see who has done that, and everybody will be able to, let's say, correct the situation and point out that this was not something correct.
Absolutely. It's definitely a timely solution to problems that are actually happening now. And I really love the ability of blockchain technology to overturn these existing business models. So tell us a little bit, how exactly are you going to be using blockchain technology?
So in the basic core functionality, what we will do is that everything that is happening to the manuscript or to the article, like the submission process, who's reviewing and what review they put on this article, everything will be timestamped and hashed, sent to the blockchain. So we have ensured at this moment that you are the author and you wrote exactly this article, and these reviewers, for example, thought or reviewed your paper with this specific feedback. So this will be completely transparent in the blockchain, and that's the nice thing of the blockchain, that nobody can actually touch it and let's say, introduce some bias or some influence on that. You will be completely centralized to your comments there and to see what's happening behind. So that would be the basic. Then, of course, we have some more advanced functionalities like the centralized journals and so on that we can talk about.
Just that, just being able to prove that you were the author of an article and that you were able to timestamp it, for example, is powerful in of itself. But when you start looking at all the other things that come behind it, the transparency, this is the original article that I published. Because a lot of people also don't realize that by the time it gets through the editorial process and gets actually published in a journal, things might have changed. Even if slightly, that can be problematic sometimes. And that's really, really important to point out as well. And now, what is the token itself going to be used for?
Sure. So, in fact, something that is missing right now, it's, for example, the rewards and this reward that these get for the peer reviewers, right? The review process is one of the most important during this science knowledge dissemination, because it's actually where your work and your research is validated, and they say, has been done properly, and this actually the facts that you show are actually have been performed in a proper way. Right now, this work is done completely in a voluntary basis, which is not actually voluntary. It's basically the publisher forces you to do it, because you know that you will be in the other situation later on for your work. So they ask you kindly to review the work. You don't get any recognition. Something that we introduced here for the token is that we believe that the author, instead of paying to the publishers to publish their work, they have to actually put whatever they think that is a reward for all the big effort that the reviewers have to do. And this would be one of the basic functionalities that where we introduce the token, is to actually, authors will stack some tokens that will be rewarded to the peer reviewers when they validate the work.
Nice. Nice. Even that's just a great use case in itself, incentivizing the peer review process.
Yeah.
Now, you're also offering the zero delay publication. We have the decentralized journals as well. Can you tell us a bit about those?
Sure. So basically, the zero delay publication is what we said. No, at the moment that the author will say, "Okay, I finished my work, and now I want to actually send it, make it public, and of course, get the peer review." No, so my article is actually validated and proof that I did the correct work, no, and improve it. So that would be the zero delay publication. But then what we have also is, I mean, the concept of journal will not disappear. Of course, the publisher is one thing, but the journals is something that is useful. No, it's a compilation of different articles, a specific community or areas of research, and that's very important. But what we believe is that we also want to decentralize that, and we want to give the possibility to everyone to create like decentralized autonomous organizations, specifically for journals, where they can decide what kind of policies will run this journal, what kind of articles they will choose. Also, they can do some voting. It's up to them. We will put the formula so they can decide and they can establish the way that they want to run. We don't want to actually interfere in this process, but so they will be able to do it by their own. And everything will be transparent because it will also run in the blockchain. So if something is published or not, will be also because there was a decision, and that decision is transparent to the rest of the people. And that's really important. That's something missing currently, because whatever is published or not is based on some decisions that some people take and nobody knows.
At least this way it'll be transparent, right? So essentially, if I'm a token holder, I can come in and potentially vote on what may or may not be published?
Yes, in fact, if you are a token holder, you can also create your own journal and basically decide which kind of policies you will put, or your journal will put in place in order to decide which articles will be published. You can decide that it will be a voting system, or you can define that, okay, I will publish this kind of this kind of articles with these specific reviews that needs, I don't know, at least 3-4 reviews, whatever you want. You can put a voting system. This is completely up to the one who creates the journal, or the ones who create the community that manage the journal.
I like the idea of putting basically not just the tools of coming to publication, but actually the journals themselves back in the hands of the community. Now, just as a thought, what stops, for example, some of the big journals or the big publishers or some of the big universities from coming, buying a lot of tokens, and then using their power to crush small scientists who they don't agree with?
Well, I think that it's in the blockchain. I mean, is some of the problems now is always what happens if everyone gets all the tokens, or a big portion of the tokens. I think that one of the main points here is that first, it's very difficult to do it. I mean, it's very difficult to get most of the tokens, and in any way, if you have this situation, everybody will see it, and you can always escape from that and try to avoid the situation. In this case, since everything is also quite flexible, you don't have to actually go, okay, you can create many journals and you can have most of the tokens, but in the other way, you can always create another journal with a very small amount of tokens, and that might have more recognition by the scientific community than the one that has many tokens, because in the end, the token is just like the tool that we use, to operate in the platform and in the community. The more that you have, it doesn't mean that you have more power, that you can convince more people. It means that you can operate more times, but doesn't mean that you have the power to convince the rest of the people or to control the full community. I think that's the beauty of the blockchain technologies here.
Awesome. I like it. Now, you want to take care of the full life cycle in terms of traceability. Why is that important that you have that life cycle control over a piece of scientific work?
So in fact, yes, because this life cycle explains many things that we now don't know. From the beginning, that okay, we publish the article and everything is already available for the scientific community, but these peer reviews reveal also quality of the manuscript and the paper, and reveal as well for something very important, that is how good is or the recognition for these peer reviewers. Right now, for example, this work of the reviewers is completely nobody sees,
Mm-hmm.
but actually this is something that can impact in the careers of these people. If you do a great good job doing these kind of things, you should have this recognition, and that should influence positive in your career. Also, it's a bit of everything. No, it's also we can keep, let's say, even after publishing, even after the article is published, we can continue to review this article if, for example, there is some updates or there is some news. This is something now that is not possible, because when it is published, normally it can be reviewed later on, but it is not like a living article. And we want to, what we plan is also to have this living article that can be peer reviewed many times, not only a few of them published and go on. We
Mm-hmm.
want to have this kind of continuous evolution on the scientific model. Yeah.
I like it. I like the idea of the living article that will continue to grow and improve over time. So actually, in the end, Orvium may really be delivering much higher quality scientific papers because it doesn't just get published once and then go to print and they sell, the Scientific Journal of America and that's it. You can actually
Yeah.
keep this process going, continually improve it as other scientists come in and say, hey, we've made this or this idea. And that's a pretty cool innovation in the way that we're looking at publishing of these papers. Now, in terms of collaboration, how are you going to help incentivize more collaboration between scientists and academics?
Well, I think that in that sense, I mean, the scientific community normally is going to collaborate. I worked a few years at CERN, the European Laboratory for Particle Physics, and in my experience, the scientists have already good ways to collaborate together and to, let's say, do science. No, what it is missing there is that when it comes to disseminate this knowledge, they enter in this kind of not that nice program, let's say it this way. Yes, there is a period of 1-2 years where this work stop and this collaboration can stop. Okay, I think that in this sense, Orvium, since it is completely open, will allow to enhance these collaboration channels that more or less are already in place, but it will really make it completely transparent. And you don't have to wait until this article is published to maybe know that some colleagues from another institute or laboratory in another country are working on something similar, and maybe you want to also get their help, to get their insights and see if you can both explore different areas. For that, I think that we will enhance the collaboration because we will make the process much more agile that
Mm-hmm.
will allow them to collaborate better.
That's awesome. I really, really feel for scientists because they're sitting in this situation where they're sitting around creating beautiful science that's going to, cure cancer or do whatever it's going to do. And then they take their publication to some outdated institution who is solely driven by economics, isn't driven by the beauty of science necessarily or the beauty of exploring new ideas. It's just, okay, we're going to get paid. We're the gatekeepers. We decide what comes in, what goes out. Pay us. And then we'll talk about maybe putting your publication out in a year's time, which is crazy. It's slowing down the process. Innovation is being slowed by this. So I really I'm excited about the project because I think there's so much potential to help the community collaborate and grow together, which is, of course, awesome. Now, you also have what is called a patronage model. Can you explain a little bit about that?
Yes, in fact, the patronage in the most simple way would be like a crowdfunding campaign that can be launched in our idea. We believe that it can be launched from different actors. Of course, you can have the research part, no, that is actually looking for funds to get or to advance in their research, which unfortunately now is kind of very common because science is one of the first things that the governments try to cut off on funds, and this is,
Unfortunately.
we can all help. That will be that's very cool, no? But in the other way as well, we want to open science a bit to everyone, and we want that people get involved in the scientific process. So you can imagine that, for example, I'm very worried about specific areas. I don't know, you can think about some cures or diseases that I'm worried about or I want to contribute to it. And I can challenge as well the community and say, I want to reward, I create a campaign to reward whoever do advancements in this specific area. And this will be also a kind of a stack that the people can contribute. And whenever there is a nice research and advanced in this specific area, the scientists can get some reward in order to continue this progress.
Very cool. And so what's your marketing strategy to actually connect with publishers, with academics, with scientists? How do you go to them and say, hey, we have this cool new blockchain platform, check it out? Because I have a feeling like a lot of scientists are kind of a bit conservative sometimes, and I know that here they are working on these cutting edge technologies and all these things, but there's still this kind of, this is what they're used to, this conservative process. So how do you get them on board?
Yes, I mean, you're completely right in the sense that scientific community sometimes is kind of conservative, but I think that there are several points that play in our favor. No, the first one is that it is also quite frustrated about the current system. They know that there is a problem there, and they know that this is not right, no, the way it is done. So that's actually something that plays in our favor. But what we have in our program is actually, we understand that it takes time to onboard, and so we want to accelerate this process as much as possible. And we have dedicated a big part of our funds in order to introduce it as smoothly and as fast as possible in the universities and the research institutes, which is actually the core of this of the core actors, no, of the Orvium platform. Fortunately, also we have count with a team that comes from many scientific institutes and universities. And of course, we are preparing this plan based on their feedback, on their beliefs. And I think that we are in the right direction in that sense.
Nice. And you've brought up kind of my next question, which is I want to know a little bit more about the team. Now, the team listed on the website is quite small at the moment, the core team anyway. It's you and two other guys, and then there's about maybe 20 advisors or so. And so can you explain why you have this model with quite a small core team and then a lot of advisors on board, and what are the advisors actually doing for you?
So in fact, I mean, with the core team, we say I suppose it's the founders, but the other teams, even if they are advisors, we have many people that is working actually actively on the project, and basically some of them are actually more than full time on this. The thing is that, okay, we have divided in different areas. We have the scientific advisors, which are mainly the people connected to the universities and also the research institutes, and they are really guiding us on the strategy to attract and to target the research community.
Mm-hmm.
We also have the business advisors, which are more targeting hours in terms of the business strategy, and also how to run the company and so on. And then we have the technology advisors, which are actually helping us to develop all the platform, also advising us on the technologies. The idea is to actually grow the team completely to have more, let's say, completely dedicated team to develop all the platform and so on. Yeah.
Very, very cool. And in terms of the roadmap, so when can we expect, Orvium to be fully operational?
Well, fully operational, it's for us. I mean, I coming from technology side, so there is always something new and something that you want to improve, right? So we see this development something like an evolutive approach. We will start with simple and the basic functionality. We want to deliver that to make it production ready, and then start adding more and more functionality. So we are now developing the MVP, and that will be released very soon. And after that, basically, we will add the basic functionality where the people will be able to submit articles and do the peer reviews. And so basically, the core of the scientific process. That will be launched hopefully by the end of this year and in the mainnet. Next iteration, then we will be adding more functionalities. We will be adding the centralized journals, and with the current schedule, we plan for the next year to have basically all the what we call also with the integration of big data analytics. And we believe that this will be a game-changing technology in this area because we will allow us to be smart. And for example, on doing the reviews, we will help them to actually identify specific trends on the articles. Also, we'll have a nice impact factor calculations, which is taking into account many other areas, not only whatever is in the blockchain, but also whatever is outside the blockchain. So we will have basically fully operational by the end of this year, but with basic functionality, and then we will be added more and more. Okay.
Okay, so 60% of the tokens are going up for sale in the token sale. 20% will be kept back by the team and the advisors with a 3-year vesting period, and 20% will be being kept by Orvium to help incentivize the ecosystem, etc. $20 million in total is the goal for being raised. How are you going to spend that $20 million?
Yes, so in fact, a big chunk of this amount will go directly to the development of the platform. As you can imagine, this is kind of normal, no? Because we need to accommodate and to ensure that the platform covers all the functionality needed by the institutes and the research community. And there are many research communities, and we have to target them all. So then, and also big part of our funds, like 20%, is actually dedicated to science and collaboration. We will, this is what I said before, no? We will go actually to the universities and institutes and help them to get directly on board in the platform. In the most basic way, we will give them tokens so they can operate and they can do the peer review and everything directly straight from the first minute.
Very
Of course,
cool.
then we have more like the operations and business, no, to run the infrastructure, to do the marketing as well, legal and financial, and we have also 10% for R&D, and this is actually something very important for us because we believe that we have to continue chance on the technologies that are important for us. And for example, in blockchain, there are several things that can be improved, and we want to dedicate a specific amount of our funds to go and advance in these technologies and these areas that are interesting for us and for everyone.
Very, very cool. Antonio, I wish you all the best for the sale. Thanks so much for coming on to tell us a little bit about what you guys are doing.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for the interview. I really enjoyed it.
Thanks so much for watching the video. Let me know what you think about Orvium down below in the comment section. Join the conversation over on Twitter where I share further insights into the crypto space. Thumbs up the video. Share these videos around the internet to help our community grow. Long live the blockchain, and peace out till next time.